Welcome to the Soul Fam Podcast. I'm Diana Marquetta. I'm host of the Soul Fam Podcast. Please remember to like and subscribe at the end of this really cool, fun, exclusive podcast with Sushana, who is an energy healer, an oracle reader, and a bit of a lifesaver all around. I just recently had an amazing reading with Sushana. I will not lie. I love tarot and oracle and dowsing rods and all sorts of divination, just as guides, as resources, as perception changers. And Sushana was highly recommended to me. You can find her at the top of a mountain in Topanga Canyon at Topanga Rocks here in the greater Los Angeles area. And I was super blessed and fortunate to have a beautiful oracle tarot reading with Sushana, and it's much more than that. So bringing you here today to meet Sushana.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. I'm super excited to have you here. Our audience is going to love you. I also feel like you have so much to offer everyone. And it was interesting to come to meet you in Topanga, which has also been where there's been a lot of fires. Everyone should know this, no matter where you are in the world. There was severe fires there in January. Topanga Rocks, this entire community is still recovering from that. And getting to see Sushana is like an oasis in the middle of a disaster, literally. And I just am super blessed to have had a reading with you in a beautiful environment with a waterfall and a gazebo with amazing crystals and rocks surrounding us. So how did you get into all of this, Sushana? And I know that's your happy place.
Yeah, it really is. It shines through. So yeah, my name is Susanna. I go by Sunshine as well.
Yeah.
I do like how I got into reading is it kind of came to me. The path chose me. All my decks have been given to me through various people, and I started when I was around 18. And my first tarot deck I still use in all of my readings. We have a special bond and can kind of talk like friends. And I actually started reading for people as soon as I started reading, I started reading at this 18 and up club called Afterlife.
Oh.
Which seems like a fever dream now. But
wow.
that's where I got my start. And yeah, the place was really cool. It had like the different rooms for like different elements, and so that's where I started reading, and that's been over a decade. And I just kind of always read for myself and for others, and then recently at Topanga Rocks the last couple of years, just entering that opportunity as fun. I just kind of threw up a poster during an art walk because I had art out as well. I did this like planetary and it was educational about all the planets. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to be standing here all day anyway. So I threw up a sign at Topanga Rocks to do readings. And after the event, the sign stayed up and I kept on getting readings. And I was like, I guess I'm going to keep doing this. And ever since, my clientele has built, many regulars, many referrals. And I'm like, okay, this is actually, a need that people need. And I'm really happy. Like you said, it's like my happy place is so fulfilling to me to help people move their energy, connect with themselves, get answers to complicated questions.
Yeah, it's definitely multi-layered, and the questions are kind of complicated right now. It's not just a simple, the readings that you give, at least my experience was the readings you give aren't just a simple yes, no, love, career, whatever it might be. You're very multi-layered in your approach and in your delivery. And it's
thank you.
Like weaving a story as you're sharing the information. What you also shared with me is that the readings used to be a little briefer, and now it's really expanded.
It has, yeah. 20 minutes. I could stay within my 20-minute, my kind of mini read intro. And it's been harder and harder lately because, when I ask someone what their intention is or what their question is, sometimes it's not so straightforward. They're just like, well, love and career and this and that. And I'm just like, okay, so let's see. There's a lot to unpack there, and it's all connected. And, I'm really in the business of getting answers, and so what is one reading about career, right, can expand into, oh, and this is happening with your family, and like, oh, and this in your partner, and I'm like, hey, this is a lot to unpack. And my goal is to really leave someone like relieved and lighter, at the end of the session, having answers, having like action steps where they can actually feel like they can move forward, a direction.
Right. It's very practical and it's easy to follow, so to speak. I mean, it's an interesting sort of experience, and sure, you can go to therapy, which I'm not denying that's a great tool for a lot of people. However, your readings seem to, and I'm curious, is it part of the decks as well? Because I know you pull from multiple decks as you're doing the reading. There's not one particular deck, and the deck sort of speaks to you as the questions come in or as the guidance come in. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, what's nice about working with the different decks is that sometimes it is the same message over and over again, but they say things in different ways. So if I say something once in one way, it may not land or hit until I say it in another way, and then finally, they're like, oh, or that repetitive nature. And, especially when the messages keep repeating, it really kind of drives some points home, which I think that we need sometimes, especially when we're shifting so much like energy and so much perspective. Sometimes we need a little bit of repetition to be like, okay, yeah, this is important. Okay, maybe I really should try and see things this way.
Do you think that's because you have become more aligned yourself and your crown chakra or your sense of the divine connection has opened further, that you're even able to offer more to your clients?
That's a really great question. I feel like I've been open. Maybe I've just been getting better at communicating and channeling more. But I really do. All the messages that come through, I really attribute to my spirit team. It's a channel. Sometimes I don't know what I'm talking about, what I'm referring to, but it lands. And also the people that I'm working with, their ancestors are and guides. Sometimes family, like past family members, come through in the reading, showing signs of just like, yeah, that makes sense because, and so it's very much a collaborative effort with spirit, and I'm just the channel. And that's like, yeah, as far as like, I'm always maintaining my spiritual energy, and it's all about like the deliverer, being in alignment with self. And knowing where I'm at, and knowing the difference between my feelings, like what I would say and what's coming through. Sometimes it's different. Sometimes I'm like, this isn't me saying this, like this is what the message is.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, my experience was I did not feel a sense of projection from you. I have to say that I have felt that through other readers that I've worked with, where their own feelings or their own experiences aren't separated from the reading itself. That's just human. So, however, I feel like there is such an incredible clarity with the work you're doing, and it's very specific. As you said, you can ask the same question, but then the response may be in different ways. So kind of looking at things from different perspectives really gives you a well-rounded sort of approach to whatever the challenge or problem or question might be.
It does help. Yeah, it does help to get, I can definitely get the answers straight from my trusted tarot deck. But it's just much more, I would say, like you said, well-rounded. And everyone gets a picture at the end too, so they can reread the affirmations that come out and remember that experience.
I have to bring this up. Do you feel like the fires have shifted things at all? And I'm going to mention this to the audience. Topanga Rocks, which is a really cool place to seek out at the top of Topanga Canyon. It'll take you a little bit to get there. You're going to have to weave around some road construction too. Well worth the visit. It's an oasis. seriously an oasis in the middle of all
You can't describe
this.
it in words. You just have to be there.
There's the yurt, there's the waterfall, there's all these crystals. I mean, just to walk onto this property, which you wouldn't even notice, honestly, if you just drove by. You have to stop, go through the gate, walk into it. But do you feel like that particular location is a bit of a vortex? And
Most
then
definitely.
the fact that we've had the fires, which is very controversial and remains to be controversial at this time. However, did it cleanse? Did it set up an even more powerful sort of vortex in this sense?
I haven't really thought of it in that way, actually. I remember when the fires were going on, and the fire was just across the street,
right?
Burning the mountain. There's this large mountain across the street. Could easily jump the road, and I was just like, I was in Costa Rica at the time, watching it from afar, and I was just like, we have all the Buddhas, we have all like these giant crystals all around, made for protection, and I'm just like, let's see if this stuff works. It was a test, and I think it definitely has shifted the community a lot. A lot of people moving in, a lot of people moving out, a lot of people like healing, and the way the community came together when it was going on was like one of the most beautiful things I ever saw. I get chills thinking about it, because it was really, and the devastation, it was to see people supporting each other like that was like, oh wow, we really have each other's backs. As far as the property itself, it seems like, I'll be honest, it seems untouched, just as it was, it seems just as white, just as spiritual. It is powerful. It's always been powerful. This natural waterfall is a vortex, and I think that there's a preservation and protection here that really, I think, shields from a lot of the shifts in the world. That's why when you walk onto the property, you're just like,
for sure.
I think a lot of people come here to meditate, to cleanse themselves, to ground themselves, particularly in the Los Angeles area. You don't find a lot of properties and places like this.
No, there's not a lot of serenity, especially right now. So it's definitely an oasis in the middle of all of this.
It really is. And it remains. So I'm really happy that it remained protected.
Yeah, me too. So that being said, do you feel like that's affected your readings? Do you also feel like it's interesting? You mentioned that people seem to really be at a crossroads when they come to you. Is that true of just your clients, or do you feel like sort of in the collective in general, we're at a crossroads?
Yeah, I think so. I think, I actually looked to astrology for this. Marks generations. It moves very slowly in the sky and in astrological charts, and it has recently permanently entered Pluto for the next few decades, and it marks generations. And Pluto entering Aquarius, we've been used to Pluto in Capricorn since 2008, and so and Pluto influences the collective, and so you can also see kind of the rise in AI and technology, and things are shifting collectively, and I think we're all kind of waking up from that time with Pluto and Capricorn, which is it was very business oriented, very materialistic, and Pluto moving into Aquarius is very much like, it's this contrast between community and like realness and authenticity, and the technology as well. And so we are expanding in our perspective, our individuality. Who am I? How am I showing up in my community? And also the changes in technology and how rapidly that's happening, and everyone's just trying to get a grip on what that looks like for them on an individual level. Again, how they fit in too, what are they going to do with it, about it? And it's a big time of change, and we're all feeling it.
For sure. There's a lot of instability and a lot of opportunity for choices to be made. And there's a lot of
perspective.
Yeah. And a lot of getting rid of the old, releasing that. At least that's my personal experience. So it seems like it's sort of happening in general. What are some of the questions that seem to be consistently coming up?
And this is why my readings have been longer. A lot of people have just been so overwhelmed. They don't even know like what to ask. They're just like, I ask them, okay, what's your intention? What's your question? And they're just like, I lose them for a little bit because they're just like, okay, where do I start? Like, and so
Interesting.
more often than not, there actually hasn't been a lot of direct questions. Or they're just like, again, they're just like, okay, so there's career and I want to know about love too. And like, like all across the board, I'm like, okay, so let's see what they want to focus on. And I would say as far as answers that come up consistently is how important it is for people to be with themselves and be grounded. And I would say particularly in the last couple of weeks, this kind of recovery mode a little bit,
What do you mean?
It's okay to slow down. It's okay to like feel your emotions. You don't have to make actions yet. There's been a bit of like an emotional cleanse in a way. And people are just like, I'm feeling things, I'm realizing things. How, like, what do I do with it? What do I do with it? And it's like, okay, just like allow that energy to like coming into a more passive energy and allow the internal shifts and the emotional and in the spiritual show themselves in the physical in time, So there's a lot of anxiousness too, of just like I feel it, I don't see it yet, like what's going on, what do I do with it, And I attribute that to Mercury in retrograde, which is going direct after the full moon. It's all about a review process, and so we are in a review process, maybe realizing a lot of things, and it creates some anxiousness and excitement depending on your mind state. That's why it's important to slow down and create that space in your mind, because otherwise it, without space, it creates friction and confusion.
And compression. It feels like compression because so much comes through, especially if you're feeling overwhelmed. I get that a lot from sort of the collective in general, that there's a sense of overwhelmingness. And perhaps, I'm curious how you feel, this is because we're making that shift from Capricorn energy to Aquarius energy. So, or in the Pluto sense, that we're letting go of what used to seem very, brick and mortar, XYZ 1, 2, 3, and it's a whole different thing to go, I'll just wait, I'll just chill, it'll kind of flow through me. It does, but you have to give space for it to happen. It may flow through fast, but you have to allow it to have some space to do that.
And I mean, we could talk about astrology for hours, I think. This also attributes to the other outer planets, Saturn and Neptune. Neptune's been in Pisces for a long time. Both Saturn and Neptune entered Aries together. They're going retrograde back into Pisces towards the end of the year. So there is this kind of like getting glimpses into what the new can look like. But I feel like the rest of the year really is going to be in this kind of review mode, taking those insights that have been coming, particularly in the last few months, and letting them sit and putting them in the oven and letting them bake until I'll be honest, like until next year. And I can definitely see people who want to push, getting frustrated of like, oh, but I know, and I try and take my own advice too.
Right, I know.
And be patient myself, because I'm feeling it too.
So you were just recently in Costa Rica. What is that all about? Is that a regular trip for you? Do you live there part-time? How does that work for you?
Yeah, I have a house that I go there. It's not, I have a friend out there who has a house that I go and I stay. And I was there during the fires, at the beginning part of the year. So I go annually, as an energetic cleanse, spending every day at the beach, writing, regrounding, reconnecting with myself, and again, taking my own advice,
Wow.
So just having a little energetic cleanse, particularly when I'm taking in so much of other people's energy. I've been holding space a lot, and holding my own space. But I do still do virtual readings while I'm traveling too, because I just love it so much. If I don't do a reading after a while, I feel like depleted. I love, I don't want to make too much space from that, because it really is part of my fulfillment.
I understand.
That's very clear to me.
Yeah. And what my experience was, you enjoy it as much as the client enjoys it, as much as I enjoyed it. It was really a fulfilling exchange of energy. So, and I feel the same way about the podcast. If I don't do this, then, there's something missing and I get a little down without it. When you do the energetic cleanse for yourself, this is something we all need to do for ourselves. Would you recommend that?
Definitely. Yeah. And sometimes different times call for different modalities.
Mm-hmm.
And this comes up in readings too. Sometimes it's more of a physical cleanse where you're, just making sure you're drinking proper, good water, good food. And sometimes it's more on subtle levels, going through your emotions, maybe journaling, creating, just like doing pure creation as far as for fun, creativity, to connect with that inner child. There's so many different ways to cleanse and ground and get back into your body, into your energy, into your feelings. And then there's also obviously doing the sage and, working with crystals. There's so many like different avenues to healing and cleansing. And it doesn't have to necessarily be one thing or in one way. I'm a big advocate for that.
Yeah, there's a lot of little tools you can use, even if you can't get away to Costa Rica or someplace else for several days. So, and do you recommend cleansing your energy on a daily basis, especially right now? I mean, we have a lot of stuff going on energetically on the planet, and then there's just so much AI, like I feel it, or there's so much electricity. I feel it myself as I'm walking around.
I definitely recommend it, for everybody, particularly when you're not used to it too, because I have been kind of working with my sensitivity and my mediumship for quite some time. So I do know, again, like the difference between the messages of what is me and what is not. And I think a lot of people could benefit a lot from this has been a message coming up a lot, going within and noticing what's not theirs, taking on other people's energy and starting to be like, and giving it back to them, like intentionally, so they can actually find, it's hard to explain, but actually find themselves, because we take on so many other people's emotions, perspectives, ideas, and we begin to get confused in what is theirs and what is ours. And so, yeah, it's a great practice too, in whichever way you feel called to, sorting that out on a daily basis would be ideal.
So that is something that you're finding a lot with clients, is that they have a little difficulty feeling the energy that is truly just theirs, and the energy of others, or the energy of the collective, or the energy of their environment.
Definitely. Yeah, we're all sensitive beings. We're all psychic. We're all energetic, and it takes intention and time to sort those things out of what we have taken from others or what they've given to us, and determine for ourselves what we would like to keep and what we would like to give back.
In your cards, I'm curious about your cards a little bit, because you mentioned that they've all been given to you. Did you do like some classes, or have you done this completely on your own intuition and guidance?
I am always studying. I'm always studying. I actually really do like watching other readers, particularly readers that I resonate with. Like I like the way they deliver. And so I'm always like learning about the different perspectives of how other people read cards as well. I didn't do any classes, but it's been a daily study on other people read different interpretations of the cards. And like, I know my cards have their own way of speaking as well. And so just gaining perspective through observing and putting that into my toolbox as it resonates.
They definitely seem to have their own energy. And I really noticed that in the reading, that the cards themselves, it's not like you're just setting down a set of playing cards, or, gee, I grabbed this deck yesterday at Barnes and Noble or whatever. They really do have their own aliveness to them.
I love, they're like a good friend, sometimes it's like, we'll just talk, or sometimes they'll start talking about things I don't want to talk about. I'm like, no, I want to talk about this. And they're like,
that's true.
What about this? I'm like, okay, I'm going to put you down now.
Yeah. That came
I'm
up.
not talking about that right now.
You're like, do I tell her this? This just came out. Should I tell her that? Yeah, but I think we
Exactly.
better. So what are your plans? How do you really have, I strongly feel like you have a big career ahead of you in this space, and you resonate so easily with people. You know, your personality is very effervescent and you're easy to be around. I would assume you have some plans, but it doesn't really matter. But I think God's got some plans for you.
Thank you. That's really, really kind. Yeah, I've been going through my own healing journey, starting with being a personal trainer,
Hmm.
going like, just learning about the body mechanics, learning how to heal the body, going deeper with yoga teaching into the subtle bodies. And then I started managing this crystal shop, going into crystal healing, understanding, the different subtle realms of crystals, and now coming kind of back to my roots with astrology and cards. I've been working on kind of a blanket brand called Alchemy of Sunshine, so I can kind of start to create resources teaching people about all these different healing modalities that they can tap into, and one-on-one readings. I also do like a free newsletter about like the forecasted month's energy called the Mystic Map, astrology based. And I've been working on a moon ritual journal. I used to make these moon ritual kits, which I did for many years, and I just wanted to expand and make it more accessible, because I've been following the new and full moons for like 5 years consistently and have manifested so much through that. That's another big thing I'd like to share and inspire other people to really focus on their intentions and their manifestation and stay consistent towards their goals.
We have the full moon coming up this coming Monday, I believe, August 10th. Is that correct?
I think it's, well, I guess it depends on your time zone. The 9th, 10th. Yeah.
So I always used to do a little burn ritual during the new and full moons. I've kind of fallen off on that. Can you speak to kind of how your rituals work and why you feel like the moon is an important aspect of intention, manifestation, and connection?
Yeah, the moon within itself and its cycles and phases really does outline a map of to beginning to end, and it's cyclical, because, and that's how life is. It's a circle of life, this new beginning and this ending and the space in between before that new beginning. And so it's kind of like a perfect way to track your new beginnings, your action, the accumulation, the letting go. And again, okay, that didn't work. I still want that manifestation. Right. I'm going to reset it. I'm going to try it this way, oh, it's working. Okay. It's really powerful. And it's very like, I was doing it for a couple of years before I started doing moon ritual kits, because I'm like, this works. Like, everyone should know about this. It's been a big passion for me.
So what's in your kit? How does this work? So and it's interesting you mentioned, okay, this didn't work in creating this particular manifestation.
Right.
But let's approach it from a different way.
Yeah, and you asked about the rituals themselves. They're very fluid, and they do. That's why I like the kits. And I'm trying to make it even more accessible, which is why I started the Mystic Map, just sending out the information. But the rituals change for me. But I always encourage people who got my kits, like, you can use the same ritual every time. It is a kind of like, even if the information changes, the ritual still stands. But depending on the signs, I would change the ritual to if it's a fire moon, more of a burning, to, it would different intentions depending on what the energies were like. So the energies changes, and the way I write my intentions changes too. Sometimes it's a list, sometimes it's a free journal. Sometimes this time it was like with dates, I was like planning out my day to day, because there was so much different, like, like everyone else, like different things to do, where I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to map this out so I can get everything done. And it's been, that's been kind of really helping me out these last couple of weeks, actually.
That's
So
super
yeah.
interesting. Are you planning something for this full moon for yourself or otherwise? Do you have any recommendations?
It is an Aquarius full moon. I'm an Aquarius moon. And I always find myself like more emotional around that time. So I do have some plans to meet with a friend. So I'll probably be doing that and just grounding. I'm gonna not put a lot of pressure on myself. Knowing how, and that's another thing while you're tracking the moons, you can know how the different moons affect you. Since I've been tracking this for many years, I know Aquarius full moon is extra impactful for me. I've felt the effects. I've seen it year after year. So that way I'm not like overdoing it on this particular full moon.
Super interesting. I'm super excited about this particular full moon. I'll be traveling, so I'm super excited about it. Transitioning to a different part of my life. But
It's accumulation. It's a manifestation.
Say that again.
It's accumulation. Yeah, that's a lot of full moons enlighten, show us how much we've grown, what we've done, what we've been working towards. And so it really is the perfect time to embody that.
So what would you tell the collective right now for this coming full moon?
Well, like I said, it's different for everybody. Me being Aquarius moon, it's different. But collectively, I guess the same thing. It's accumulation. Come into gratitude. What have you been working toward? What goals have been manifesting for you? Allow space for you to like really recognize yourself and your work that you've been doing. And then the reevaluation of just like, this is what I'm releasing. Full moons are accumulation, but it's also a release and a checkpoint as far as this is what I've built. This is what's no longer serving me.
Right.
And then you move into the last quarter of just like rest and I would say like preparing the grounds for the seeds at the new moon where you're going to replant those intentions.
Either in a 3D kind of way or in a 5D kind of way?
I do recommend 4D writing those down so you can actually see what you are planting and you can look back at it too, because we can like intend with our heart and mind, but then we get distracted by the outer world and we're just like, what did I want again? What was I doing again? But you can go back to your journal and be like, oh yeah, that's right. I really want that, because life, you can have your own intentions and your own plans, but like, God and life has its own plans too. So that's where the collaboration comes in. It's just like, I really want this. I'm going to hold on to that. I'm going to put that out there. And that's why it's so important for that cyclical, because like you can check in and be like, oh, it's like I can see it happening now. Or it's just like, I did not work on that for 2 weeks. Where have I been?
Right. Right. Or 2 years.
Exactly.
Interesting. That's really, it's really interesting. I have to say you're very hopeful. Things that are going on in the planet at the moment aren't necessarily hopeful in some ways, but your reflections are very hopeful and inspiring and have a lot of energy to them in a really positive way. And I think sometimes we're afraid to look at different perspectives. We sort of get in our tunnel vision. Your readings seem to give like, it's sort of like, it's like there's a kind of window. I feel like I'm in the rotunda of windows, so I can look around the entire perspective.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I really appreciate, you taking that clarity. And it's really just, my hope is that as a reflection of you, you being able to connect with your higher self. I'm just you talking with you, or your spirit guides, or, whoever wants to deliver those messages, to like your higher self, so you can see what is being reflected, if that makes sense. So you can see yourself.
Right. And I mentioned this also in the middle of us talking about the full moon or the new moon or doing a moon ritual, because that also offers perspective, correct?
It does. It's the same process essentially with yourself, reflecting inward to your higher intentions, to your own energy, to what you're being called to, and asking yourself, what is it that I want? What am I trying to manifest? Where do I want to put my energy? into. Right. And so it is a similar process of asking yourself questions. The difference between that and a reading is that you're asking me questions,
Right.
And I'm reflecting with you.
Manifestation is a big thing in YouTube, in our spiritual, sort of in the collective in general. Do you have some feelings about manifestation, or do the cards, do your guides have some guidance about manifestation? I think we're a little lost on thinking, well, if I just think this, it's all going to come. Do you have some messages, or is there anything that wants to come through about manifestation in general?
Well, yeah, manifestation is the accumulation of all the different levels of being. We start with spirits, into the emotional realm, into the mental realm, and eventually all of that accumulates into the physical realm. So, having your energy in that direction, having your emotions in that direction, having your mind in that direction does actually end up manifesting in the physical, even if it could take a day, it could take 3 years. You continue on that path of bringing all those levels of being in one direction. I truly believe, and I've experienced, that it does manifest. This is where the trick is, though, because we can't control the weather and we can't control other people. So when your manifestation is involved with somebody else, not your own actions, not your own energy, it does, it does, I want to say like it takes a little bit longer, but it may not manifest because they're on their own path with their own energy. It's got to be mutual. They have to want that too. And so I think maybe that's where possibly some people get caught up, because they want someone to be a certain way. And unfortunately you can't change someone else's mind. You can only show up in alignment, and they're either in that alignment or not. So that is, I would say, the tricky side of manifestation, involving other people in it.
In the love side, in the romantic side, it would
in
anything side, yeah,
involving other people, or I really want it to rain tomorrow. It's gonna be a tough manifestation, or you can just move to Seattle and take the reins into your own hands.
So what you're saying, however, this is important, is that it's the alignment. It's that sense of our spiritual, our physical, our emotional, our mental energy being solidified in that an integral way in order to create a manifestation.
I think there is, and we hear this a lot in different ways. We are what we think. And our mental perspective is so important for that alignment. If we are constantly telling ourselves that we are not happy, then that is what it will be. If we want to be happy, then looking on what's going right, focusing on the positivity. We have that power, and you see this a lot too, where people give that power to other people. So I'll explain, they need them to be this way in order to be happy. And you have that power. You can take that power back and be like, you know what, I'm happy, and these are the things that make me happy, so I'm going to do those things. And people want to blame, I'm not happy because of you or because of this. And it's like, okay, that's what you think, and that's what you want to give your power to, then you're 100% correct.
It's a good reason not to argue as well. Yeah, that's how you see it. So I guess that's how it is.
It is.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. That eases the way for you also to sort of be in alignment with yourself and to understand what that truly is for you personally.
Definitely. And it puts you in your power.
Exactly. So interesting. I'm curious, did you by chance bring your cards today, or do you have any cards with you? Do you have a little collective? I didn't ask for this, but I'm like, I'm going to ask anyway to see.
It's so funny. Right before we got on, I was like, oh, I need my cards.
Oh, good. Okay.
And I went and grabbed them right before I got on. So I was just like, oh, I've been holding them this whole time, and I don't know why. So what would you like?
I don't know. What should we ask? Should we ask the guides what the collective would like to know today? What would be great for the audience to hear?
Whoever made it this far. Whoever's listening
Yeah.
collectively, let's see what wants to come out. Okay. We have 4, 10 of Swords, 9 of Discs, the Universe, and the Prince of Discs with the Empress on the bottom of the deck. I'll show you what I'm looking at here. 10 of Swords, 9 of Discs or Pentacles, the Universe or the World in traditional tarot, and the Prince of Discs. This is signifying a major ending. You know, this is an ending of a cycle, and I wonder if it's talking about this new moon, full moon in Aquarius, this accumulation of old mental cycles, you know, realization finally coming to a close. Because we can realize things, but again, it takes a while to integrate. Just being like, okay, that me is not operating anymore. With the Universe, it indicates that end, and with the 10 of Swords, and with the 9 of Discs and the Prince of Discs, this is the advice of the 9 of Discs in this deck always indicates pattern and place for success. So the first bit of advice is that I guess actually I'm getting like God's rejection is God's protection. So there may be some disappointment, you know, along with this like kind of being like, oh wow, that wasn't it, that didn't work out, or even like a grieving of the old self, at most like an ego death, and just allowing yourself to move slowly and intentionally. So along with the ending, it's like take your time. And in traditional tarot, the 9 of Discs talks about like being single and working on yourself and being abundant in that. So it may be even like releasing certain codependencies on other people and tuning back into yourself and your own abundance and allowing yourself to move slowly with that. And I'll say one more thing, you know, focusing on your beauty and your self-care. Beauty is a big word for some reason, like self-love. So that may be resting, lounging, doing a face mask, taking a day off. That is what I got for the collective.
Wow.
It's really good. It's really good. It may not feel good, but I think like I said, you can really look on the bright side. Just like, oh, I'm not carrying that anymore. I'm making space for myself. I'm taking care of myself.
And it's allowed.
And that's okay, you know, that's okay. Bringing that, like taking your responsibility. Taking responsibility for yourself.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope it helped.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'll help all of us. And this will publish it'll publish probably right before the full moon. So it's
perfect. Okay.
It's great. It's great advice. And it's the midpoint of the summer, basically. I know the rest of 2025 is not going to be easy, is likely not going to be easy. So
you can make it easy. You can make it easy.
Okay. Good remembering. Good reminder. Good reminder. Good reminder.
Huh. Just don't throw yourself against a wall and it won't be hard.
Right. It's so funny. It's so good. That's what I mean. So even in the middle of a crisis, even in the middle of disaster, this is exactly where you can be. Beautiful. Beautiful. So how can people get in touch with you? Are you open to more readings? Are you open to bookings? Do you do it virtually? Do you do it in person? Do you have any plans for classes or anything else upcoming?
I have so many plans. But people can find me on my website, alchemyofsunshine.com.
Love that.
I can also connect with you on Instagram. My personal page is my name, Susanna, which is spelled SUSHANNA, and my last name is Jordan, JORDAN. So at Susanna Jordan on Instagram. And yeah, send me a message or through my website. There are links there. You can inquire for a reading, and we can do in person or virtual.
Fantastic. Is there any guidance or anything that you want to say or your guides want to say to the audience today?
Immediately I dropped into my heart with that breath, and I want to say, like, yeah, bring your mind to your heart, meaning allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. Your feelings are valid. And again, it's all about unpacking where those feelings are coming from. In a cliche, like listen to your heart. That's what I am feeling.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. You are beautiful.
I don't know about that, but thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think our audience. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I really feel that heart, and I hope the audience really feels this in their heart too. That's our most powerful place to be.
It is. It is a Leo season, after all. Leo rules the heart, and Leo is ruled by the sun. Our authentic expression really comes from the heart when we share it with others, showing up authentically.
So say that again. I forgot that Leo rules the heart.
Yeah, Leo rules the heart and the chest, ruled by the sun, which the sun is the soul in the chart, and the heart is where we connect with other people. And our personal emotions are in the second chakra, which is in the belly. But when we move outward and we express ourselves and we connect with others, it's through the heart. That those emotions come out through our lower chakras, and that's where we can really connect and again show ourselves and understand each other, feel each other.
Important for all of us on this planet right now.
Yes, especially because we're all up in the head all the time.
Yeah. So getting
all of our minds.
So getting down into our hearts is really where it lies.
Mm-hmm. If you want to connect with others and be authentic, yeah, I think so.
Beautiful. Well, we will close with that. I know you have other things going on today, so thank you so much, and thanks for being part of the Soul Fam podcast. And we're really lucky to have had you.
Oh, thank you so much. You are beautiful, and I can't wait to connect with you soon. And I hope you have a beautiful full moon and a smooth move, and all blessings and protection to you.
Thank you.